Hello folks, welcome to another video here in the Microsoft Sim. That's quite a sight before you, isn't it? The livery on the bird in the foreground, which is what we're going to be flying, that's interesting enough. But the one in the background, the Kodiak, it looks like it's wrapped up in wrapping paper of some sort. Okay, I can't recall seeing anything like that before. Are there any other aeroplanes around that are suitably dressed? See, all the rest of them seem to look normal. There's always a lot of Kodiaks wherever I spawn in the world. Yeah, something's awry there, isn't it? Anyway, folks, welcome to the video. You've joined the old fella who looks like a young fella and his main squeeze, Jude, here in the Diamond DA62. Haven't flown that for a little bit, so I thought, why not? And we're in a beautiful part of the world that was recently got the treatment. World Update number 9. We're in, well, the World Update took care of a region known as Iberia, and we're kind of in that region today. Not kind of, we absolutely are. We're in Spain. We're in a place called Girona, which I believe is part of the Catalonia region of Spain. Am I correct? Girona in Catalonia. And I think we're going to kind of remain inside Catalonian airspace for this flight, I think. Let me fire up a little nav map. I'll show you where we're going to go. Okay, little nav map, folks. Now, did I say World Update 9 before? I think I might have. I think what I meant to say, had I been paying attention and had I done the necessary preparation, what I meant to say was World Update number 8. I think that was Iberia. I think. I don't know why I said 9. Maybe I'm looking forward to 9. I don't even know where 9's going to be, what it's covering. So that's not an excuse either. Anyway, folks, little nav map, here we are. We begin our journey in Girona, kind of on the northeastern side of España, and we're going to do some coastal flying. This is where someone tells me in the comments what this region is known as along the coast. We're going to coastal run it down to Barcelona, and then from Barcelona we're going to kind of head in a westerly direction and then a northwesterly direction and end up in a place called Pamplona up here, where they run with the big cows and throw tomatoes at each other and have a great time. So it's Girona to Pamplona via Barcelona. Did I get those pronunciations vaguely correct? I'm sure we're in for a treat in terms of pronunciations. That's the flight. I should probably have selected a different aircraft profile here. I've got this 337. We're going to get along a little bit quicker, I think, than Diamond. So ETA is 155. That's really long flight. That's not what I was expecting. Again, have I done any preparation here at all? Why didn't I notice that? 2 hours? I don't have 2 hours to fly. Jeez, okay. All right. That's the flight plan anyway, folks. I don't know how much of it will make it through to the video. Certainly not 2 hours of it. Let's go flying. So welcome on board, ladies and gentlemen, and Jude. I'm guessing you kind of, well, I was going to bundle you in there with the ladies, but as you tell me all the time, you ain't no lady. You're all woman though, aren't you, Jude? I'm thinking maybe we're in Spain, Jude. How's that? I mean, if there's ever going to be a time for you to show a little bit of excitement, it's now. Look at this aeroplane. That's really nice, isn't it, hey? Jude, how are you? Do you want me to talk? I can't talk Spanish. I can't speak Spanish even. I can probably do a bit of a dodgy Spanish accent. What do you reckon? Hola, Jude. Hola, welcome aboard, baby. Welcome aboard Flight 69. Destination, heaven. No? Wasn't it? I don't know. Where's that accent from? That was almost Indian. Indian, Spanish, a little bit of Italian, Portuguese even. Somewhere on the border there, folks. The border between all those places. Anyway, folks, I'm going to get us started up. Get some power happening here. I haven't flown this bird for a little while. Yeah, got to remember how to fly the bloody thing. I just want to make sure the flight plan's gone in properly. Lots of user waypoints. Yeah, we're good. Folks, I'll get us started out onto a runway here in Girona, and we'll get us tracking for the coast. It's a beautiful day, so it should be nice bit of sightseeing here. Have not spent any time in this part of the world. Completely unfamiliar with it, which is precisely the reason that I'm doing the flight. I'll get us started, folks. We'll go flying. Alright, we're going to take an intersection departure here, folks, off 19 here in Girona. I think we're good to go. We've got flaps set, trim's good, transponder. We've got nothing dialed into the altitude selector. I'm going to sort of try and go at 2,500 for a bit. See if that gets us over terrain. I don't want to go too high. I want to see stuff on the ground. Alright, we're looking at a rotate of 80, are we? Alright, we can do that. Ready to go, Jude? I'll take your silence as a yes. Here we go, nice long strip for us. We'll go heading bug aligned about there. Away we go. Introduce some juice. Don't know what the wind's doing. Too late to worry about it now. Away we go. Geez, we've got some good acceleration here. Already up 360. That's beautiful. Here's 80. We can start to rotate, Jude. Hey, there we go. Oh, beautiful. Positive rate gear can come up. There we go. Yes, I've noticed that the pitot install heater off. Deliberate mistake, folks. Come back on the load a little bit. Flaps coming up as we do. Oh, that's beautiful. There we go, Girona and surrounds. Alright, Georgie just begins a right-hand turn to have us tracking down the coast. If I knew what this place underneath the wings were called, I'd tell you. But I don't. Don't need to know. What I need to know is... I don't really need to know much at all. I just need to let Georgie do the flying. He's in command. Feeling safe. It's a beautiful day, hey? Lovely conditions for a VFR joint down the coast. And a great aircraft, the DA62 with mod, of course. Great bit of kit done by the same guy that does the DA40, another aeroplane that I very much enjoy bringing out of the hangar. So I think the flight plan pretty much has us over the beach for the majority of this leg anyway, down to Barcelona. Yeah, lovely. So what's new in the world of flight simulation, folks? Have there been any aircraft releases in recent days? Oh yes, there has. The Boeing. There you go, Georgie. Thanks, mate. Right over the beach. The Boeing 247. I got that right. That sort of vintage airliner thing. Released at a pretty attractive price too. And has been, I know, getting a few attention in a few videos. I don't think I'll pick that one up. Just because those sort of birds don't really interest me. I don't have the need for one of them in the hangar at the moment. But congrats to the developer for getting it out there. It's there's some stuff that they've built into that which I think is bodes well for the future of our little simulated world. And particularly here in the Microsoft Sim, what developers are able to do, keep pushing. And they've sort of got a custom physics engine and everything. And yeah, the attention that's given to the systems of that aircraft is, yes, it's impressive. But there are a few issues with it, and people finding that their engines are blowing up somewhat inconsistently, and some other little quirks, and perhaps you could call them bugs, that hopefully the developer will rectify before too long. This is beautiful, isn't it? This is really well done. Look at that. Very happy with that. The road's right along the beach in this part of the world. That's lovely. Jump back inside. How are we going? Speed-wise? Yeah, just in the yellow. That's all right. Should I do something about these heats? Probably should, just to get rid of that yellow text. So yeah, a few more waypoints. Barcelona is this one down here. So another sort of 25 miles, something like that, before we turn inland. Jude, how are you, love? You good? Enjoying this? Oh, that was almost a nod. I saw a nod. I'm going to count that as a nod. Are you starting to warm up, Jude? Are you starting to respond in these videos? I'm not just imagining that, folks, am I? I wouldn't be doing that. Right. Barcelona, folks. Pretty good football team hails from this part of the world. That's impressive, the smokestacks. Very nice. Now, I'm not running with photogrammetry. It doesn't play well with my piss poor bandwidth. But look, otherwise this looks pretty good to me anyway. I'm pretty happy with that. If you hail from this part of the world and you're watching this video, give me a shout in the comments. I don't know that I have a lot of Spanish viewers. About half of the viewers to my channel, at least according to the YouTube analytics, about half hail from either the UK or the US, and then there's a smattering of other places throughout the world. Not a lot of European views. I don't fly in Europe very often, to be honest, and I guess I should also accept that perhaps my style of video doesn't really appeal to the more cultured European taste, but it does to the Brits, to the Poms. You're kind of not really European, at least in my eyes, and in the eyes of many of your countrymen, considering the Brexit vote. Anyway, this is very impressive. Look at this, marinas and ports and all that sort of stuff. As Georgie begins a right-hand turn, taking us eventually towards Pamplona. Oh, this is beautiful. Lots of red tiles. A bit of green. What's that? What's up there, folks? That's an attraction of some sort, or a monument of some description. Some stadiums, or stadia, I think, is technically the correct plural for stadium, isn't it? And Lord knows, I like to be technically correct, folks. Oh, this is fantastic. It's worth the price of admission today. Folks, I'll rejoin you on the... we've got quite a bit of flying to do to get us to Pamplona. The terrain will change as we go through, and I'll rejoin you somewhere later in the flight. Alright, the flight continues. We're about 10 miles from a town, city, place. I'm scared to even try to pronounce it. I would pronounce it as Lleida. Or Lleida. I'm not sure. It's like L-L-E-I-D-A. That's the place. The terrain has changed substantially since leaving Barcelona. Yeah, a lot more. It's a lot greener. We've got some more farmland and stuff in this part of Spain. Flight's going well. It's taking a while. I really should learn to do a bit more due diligence on myself before firing up the sim and whatever. Had no idea. I really assumed this was going to be like a 30 or 40 minute flight. I did not look at the estimated duration, so until recording the video. But anyway, another thing I wanted to call attention to was another one of my mistakes, many mistakes. Earlier on in the introductory element, that sounds very fancy, otherwise known as the intro, I mentioned that you could throw tomatoes at each other in Pamplona. I, of course, have that horribly wrong. That's not the place where they throw tomatoes. It is the place where they chase bulls, or bulls chase you. Bulls chase people, really, in Pamplona, the running of the bulls. But the tomato thing, otherwise known as La Tomatina, takes place in a totally different location. So, if you're listening to that video and you've gone and tried to book yourself a tomato throw, I can only apologise. And if you do anything, if you decide to take any action based on my videos, folks, you probably want to have a good look at yourself in the mirror. Your life's probably not going so well, if that's what you're basing your decisions on. Anyway, folks, we continue. I'll join you next for an approach into Pamplona, which is the place they run the bulls, but not throw the fruit. Alright, about 35 miles from our destination, and the terrain continues to change. We're getting a little bit hillier as we get closer to Pamplona, certainly getting bumpier, and we've got a pretty significant headwind that we're fighting. It went from sort of 7 knots to about 27 in short time. So we're riding the thermal waves over these hills, just noticing what looks like some wind turbines. Will I be correct? On the ridge there? Are they wind turbines? A little bit hard to see. Maybe not. What are they? No, they are wind turbines. It's just the angle. We're not seeing the blades spin because of the angle, but the blades are spinning as we shift the camera, right? I'm not just imagining that, right? No, the blades are shifting. Anyway, not long to go here, folks. Before we touch down in Pamplona, had to climb to 5,500 to get over these hills. Oh, isn't that a beautiful vista? Look at that snow on the hills in the distance. This is gorgeous. Been a really enjoyable visual experience, this flight, and yeah, let's hope we can wrap it up tidily with a half decent landing into Pamplona. I'll see you for that. You wanted wind turbines? You got them. Look at this. It's a bit blowy. It is a bit blowy at the moment. Almost 30 knots on the nose. So she's generating some power. The wind farm. Hopefully we're going to clear it without too much drama. Let me jump back inside. Oh, yeah, we should be okay. We've got about 15 miles to run into Pamplona. Looking at an arrival down onto 1.5. I think we've got a light easterly blowing. So yeah, that kind of would favour runway 15. Perfectly in sync. Mesmerising, those blades, hey? Almost enough to put you to sleep, Jude. You don't have any trouble sleeping though, Jude, do you? Once I start telling you stories, you nod off the drop of a hat. That's a nod. I'm sure that's a nod. I'm sure she's alive. See you for the approach, folks. Alright, at this point we'll get landing lights on and we'll give Georgie a rest, I think. As we do stuff. Geez, that's a big hill. It's an imposing hill anyway, particularly when you're down low. I reckon we might be slightly below profile. We're 7 miles away at 2,500. Don't know what our elevation is, but we're not going to miss this hill by very much. I don't know what our field elevation is. I think we might be slightly low on it. A little weird not being able to see that map without sort of scrolling over here. Yeah, 6 miles to run. We're going to be low, so what we're going to do is have to scoot around this ridge in front of us, and an airport should appear. We'll keep the power in, keep the speed up, just to rest that descent. Having issues with the autopilot vertical speed mode in this aircraft, just like in the DA40. It doesn't really behave as other aircraft do. It seems to chase a vertical speed rather than kind of hold it, and you generally end up higher than you think as you're making the descent. It doesn't want to descend at the rate in which you set in the autopilot. So I'm not sure what gives with that. Anyway, Jude, we're here, Pamplona. We made it. Been a long flight, made even longer by significant headwind in the latter stages. But there's Pamplona Airport right in front of us. Runway 15. We'll make a left circuit onto it. I think we did the right thing by arresting our descent. The town of Pamplona out to sort of about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock position. Here we go. Yeah, we'll fly a left circuit down onto 15. I'll just come off that juice and bleed some speed. That light easterly forecast has held up in reality. Live weather seems to be, thanks my petty, live weather seems to be behaving itself, at least for me, in this sim lately. Makes a nice change. Alright, there's our strip. Beautiful. Downwind, need to come off that juice a bit more, slow us right down. Just beam the threshold now. Don't really want to go over the buildings. Yeah, I know. Retrim.
500.
Thanks again, Betty. Heard you the first time. We'll try and fly a base of some description here. Arrest the descent. Take gear as we do so. Try and fly us in balance, mate. We see anything? Geez, we're low, aren't we? We are really low. We're dragging this thing in. Look at that. And we're going to fly through the center line. This is a horror bubble approach. Really let this one get away from us. We'll take full flap once we turn final. Try and avoid getting hung up in these power lines. Bloody hell. That's a very, very sloppy approach indeed. Can we redeem ourselves with a decent touchdown? I'm going to have to, otherwise Jude might ditch me again. I just got her back in my life. Can't afford to lose her again. Runway 15, Pamplona. Oh, well, we kind of got it somewhere on the centre line, and we're a bit squirrely here on the ground. That was just a horrible finish, horrible approach, and a very ordinary sort of flare and touchdown as well. That's disappointing after what has been a really enjoyable flight. My apologies to My apologies to you, Jude. Please forgive me. Please don't leave me again. Folks, thanks for your company. I hope that you got some, I don't know, entertainment, escape from that little Spanish adventure with Jude and myself. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.